There are many ancient sites which, upon exploration, create an air of doubt surrounding the academic explanation as to their origins, raising logical questions within the minds of the astute. With Iran being a place littered with such structures, one of the most famous of which, known as Persepolis. Found upon the banks of the river Polvar, this plateau of mythical carvings simply baffle the modern man. According to permitted academic study, Persepolis dates back a mere 2,500 years. I say mere due to several reasons. First, the lack of ability of those who were living at this particular time, the advanced techniques used within the creation of the site, and the laser-like stone-cut precision, demonstrating techniques utilized by a civilization far more technologically capable than those currently claimed as having been responsible. Thus, I must conclude they predate the academically claimed culprits and are, in fact, the work of a lost civilization. The site possesses claimed Achaemenid styles of architecture, although we feel these claims are a misconception and are, in reality, the work of someone else. Declared a World Heritage Site in 1979, the ancient Persians claimed it as their own city, naming it Persa, which means Old Persian. However, it seems, like so many other inexplicable sites found around the world, it was simply re-inhabited. Yet unlike these many other sites, inscriptions found upon buried treasure at the site actually possesses an inscription left by one of the oldest rulers of the Persians, openly admitting this re-inhabitation as a reality. Treasure found still successfully concealed at the site, a sign of the people's loyalty to their king, not discovered until modern times, presumably protected by them and its secret location until their death at the hand of Alexander the Great's invaders. Solid gold and silver tablets preserving the king's account of the site's origin. Quote, Darius, the great king, king of kings, king of countries, son of Hytaspes, this is the kingdom which I hold, from the Sachi, which is beyond Logdia, to Kush, from Sind to the Indus Valley of Lydia, and the oldest of Persia, Sparta. This bestowed upon me by Ahura Mazda, the greatest of gods. May Ahura Mazda protect me and my royal house. An inscription I perceive as an explanation that the ruler himself, due to the site's incredible nature, believed it had been built by the gods and, by divine right, had been bestowed upon him. Archaeological evidence accumulated by the French archaeologist André Godard, who excavated Persepolis in the early 1930s, believed it was Cyrus the Great who chose the site Persepolis was built upon, and that Darius I built the terrace and the palaces. These conclusions, I assert, were due to Darius and Cyrus reutilizing such structures as their places of burial. This due to their divine perceptions, explained upon these once hidden treasures. However, these rulers, dated well within permitted archaeological timelines for man, are accompanied by the countless archaeological artifacts predictably left over by these cultures who never experienced cataclysm, thus remained perfectly preserved, excavated, and flaunted to the many inquisitive people who visit these museums each year. However, the contradictory inscriptions still reveal very little regarding origins of the ruins in which they were found within. Ruins which are simply unexplainable. When one visits the site, they are initially confronted with gigantic megalithic stones, not only within its foundations, creating the platform used as a stronghold for many years, but also, somehow set aloft, forming still existing trilithons which, regardless of the demolition efforts undertaken by Alexander, still litter the site. A 125,000 square meter terrace artificially constructed, partly cut straight out of Ramat Mountain. An additional factor which supports my argument of a highly advanced builder are the Lamassu. These mythical animals, reminiscent of centaurs, are many tons in weight, And in a previous video, we showed the tremendous challenge a mere 150 years ago transporting such megaliths was. Not to mention the tremendous artistic achievements these stone carvings would have been, along with countless other intricate, masterfully carved artworks throughout the site, which mystify all who gaze upon them. Furthermore, and perhaps most interesting, are the far more primitive-looking versions. Some argue were incomplete. Others argue were attempts by future primitive cultures. These attempts, although in some areas share tool markings reminiscent of patterns like those of the stone-cutting technologies we have recently been studying in depth, may just be mere coincidences due to the random hacking that seems to have been undertaken upon the stones. Due to the positioning of the Persepolis Plateau, it was logically not constructed as a military stronghold, but rather a temple devoted to something else. A build surrounding this ancient civilization's belief systems, or possible observations, of many alignments in relation to precessions only just coming to light. Due to its location, far away from any strategical placement, found within a remote and mountainous region, although it was an inconvenient residence for the ruler of the empire, it was still chosen as a discreetly positioned capital of the Persian Empire. Yet clearly not a position chosen by the Persians, but merely reclaimed as their own work. Far away from the melting pot of developing Persian culture, the country's true capitals were Susa, Babylon, and Ecbatana. With the Greeks completely unaware of its existence throughout their own reign, only plundered by Alexander the Great's eventual far-reaching invasion. It is a site full of compelling features, most of which in direct contradiction to that which is claimed by modern academia, and indeed their institutional cohorts, Iran's museums. It is a site we find highly compelling.